Joining us now, former President Trump's legal spokeswoman, Alina Habba is here. It's good to see you, Alina. Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett. He didn't look happy in that mugshot, I'll say that. And who would be happy? This is now the fourth time that this has happened. This is unprecedented. We've never had a former president ever indicted. We never had a chief political rival of the opposition party ever, treated like this before. You look at the case, let's analyze it from a legal standpoint.
Sure. It's garbage. How about a very plain, simple English standpoint? When you have the president whose sole responsibility is to take care of America, the Constitution, election interference, and make sure that we are the America that I used to know, not the America you and I know now, and he is then prosecuted because he is leading so significantly, frankly, in the polls, that he doesn't even need to go on a debate. This is the crisis that we're in as American people. There is no case. Unfortunately, we have library books, Sean. We have bookkeeping because they didn't like the category on the QuickBooks tab that he put on a legal expense. And then we have this, which is him doing his job as the president of the United States, frankly, something we haven't seen for several years since Biden's been in the administration. Yeah. And they're going to try and put him in prison because they can't beat him.
Let's talk about, and by the way, how do you get 4 trials in during a primary season into a general election season? It would be an impossibility from my standpoint.
Right.
Now, in the case of this RICO case, the obligation to prove intent is critical on all of these charges. In other words, that the defendant acted with the intention of committing a crime or a fraud. I would bet every penny I had that if you gave Donald Trump a lie detector test and you asked him whether he believed everything that he was saying, the answer would be 1,000% yes. And yet we have historically, we've had other slates of electors brought forward. How did this happen, and how do you prove intent, Gregg Jarrett?
Well, I don't think you can in this particular case. Proving a criminal state of mind means that the district attorney has to prove that Donald Trump was aware that what he was doing was unlawful. Everything we know about his conduct leading up to the certification of electors is that he thought he was availing himself properly of the legal process. And Exhibit A, and this is the most exculpatory for the president, is his conversation with the Secretary of State in Georgia, in which he is complaining about ballot irregularities, faulty machines, valid votes that aren't being counted, invalid votes that are being counted, election laws that are being violated, petitions that are being ignored, and in the end, he is demanding a recount and a review, which, by the way, Brad Raffensperger has a duty to do. So he's asking him, do your duty. Fani Willis has misrepresented and lied in an earlier filing about what Donald Trump said, claiming he said, you need to find 11,780 votes. That's not what he said. Read the transcript or listen to the conversation.
It is a long transcript.
Right.
And in that transcript, at times he's talking about there are hundreds of thousands of votes that you guys got wrong.
Right. He is saying, I need to find that many votes because that is my vote deficit. Well, every losing candidate says that, which is why they ask for reviews, recalculations, and recounts. It's perfectly lawful. It is not criminal intent.
All right, Alina, let me ask you this. In the case in Washington, they want to start the trial on January 2nd. Interesting, in Georgia, they want to start on March 4th. Okay, that's a Monday. On Tuesday, the next day, that would be called Super Tuesday, one of the most important primary days for anybody that is running for president. Is there any possible way you foresee that he can run a presidential race, be tried on have 4 separate trials, and successfully compete, or, did they just take his time away as a candidate? And he's good luck to him, and who cares?
Well, that's exactly right. And quite honestly, Sean, that's not even the full picture. We have Letitia James. Let's not forget her. She's about as sick a ticket as Jack Smith and the rest of them.
She ran on a platform to get one man, Donald Trump, one organization, the Trump organization, and one family, the Trump family.
Right, that's right. So you have DAs and AGs who are now able to come out and say, I want to get Donald Trump and elect me on that cause, and I'm going to do it. Then they do it. So we have October, Letitia James. We have January, E. Jean Carroll. Then we have the criminal indictments. Don't forget those. Those are all by design. So everything is, the judges can't move, they don't want to move, and they want a speedy trial. But they've had years and years and years to investigate these cases, but they didn't bring it until now, and now they need a speedy trial. It's political interference and election interference.
You believe that? 2.5 years they waited. Real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Now they want the first trial to happen in 2 months. But what Alina just said is really important. It's a violation of the canons of ethics that govern prosecutors to campaign on a promise of putting a specific individual behind bars. Their duty is to see that justice is done, not to gain a conviction based on their own ambitions and desire to advance their career. But that's what Fani Willis has done, Letitia James, as well as Alvin Bragg.
All right. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.